Live. How you doing there, Byron? All right,
Wonderful. How are you?
good. Let's get it going. Well, welcome we're live from Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to the Jones and Arocho show, hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho, produced by the Sportscast. Today's October 29th, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the Sportscast in all your channels: YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please leave a rating and review us because it'll help us out tremendously. It'll also, if you can, please visit us on the sportscast.net. That's our website. You'll see all of our shows, or follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1. Please check out our Sportscast app on the iOS store and download it, and you'll be able to enjoy our podcast and just listening to it. So also, again, YouTube. So Byron, how you doing this week? We ready to get going? A lot of things are happening.
Ooh, a lot of things. Well, it's pouring down rain in here in wonderful Philadelphia. It's been raining all day, and it's cold. It's in the 50s, and it'll be in the 30s tonight.
All right, this is our 4th episode, right? So the first episode, you were freezing. The second 2 episodes, it was hot. And then today, it's freezing.
I'm old.
So in a 4-week period, it's not how you're old. You're in Philly, right? I mean, that's kind of weather. Now you know why I don't like going up there, because it's hot in stores. They don't turn the air conditioner on.
You don't come up here because you've gotten soft. That's what it is. Just admit it.
My blood thinned out. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Soft. My blood thinned out. You can't handle the heat.
No.
All right. So, hey, listen, on today's show, we're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to start off with the Giants. We got a lot about the Giants. Dallas Giants and the Phillies, and Philadelphia. I want to talk a little bit about Antonio Brown and Brady's leadership. I want to talk to, Byron's experience from a receiver, and then we're going to talk about AFC East and college football and so forth. But I just wanted to give you that segment for everybody listening out there. And we're live right now on Facebook. Let me just make sure I got all these computers going on, Byron, so I can be able to see what's going on here. So, Byron, let's talk about the first part. Let's talk about the Giants and tell me your thoughts on the grasshopper tackle.
Well, I've seen that happen before. Remember back in the day, Perth Amboy, down in the corner, the far corner, the right-hand corner heading toward the stadium, where the field was slanted on the one side. I've seen many people running in for a touchdown at Perth Amboy and mysteriously hit that little dip and fall down the same way that Danny Dimes went tumbling all by itself.
Yeah, but that was different because we had where the baseball side was, right. We had like a hill. Yep. So if you didn't, if you misstep on a hill, just walking, you're going to trip. If you misstep on a hill going up or going down, running full blast, you're gone. So we were always better facing the cemetery.
Yep. I thought,
but I'll tell you, for me, tell me else.
When I saw that run, I was like, I'm sitting there looking. I was like, well, look at him go! Look at him go! Look at this! And I think probably in the back of his mind, he's thinking, well, maybe somebody's gaining on me. I don't want to turn around. I don't want to fumble the ball like usual. And then when he got up to 20, he tried to kick it into gear a little bit more to make sure that he get caught. And when he went to kick it into third gear, that's when he went tumbling and rolled for 10 yards.
All right, let's see us live now. Just making sure I got us on Facebook Live. So I just want to see if there's any comments, anyone doing in there. First of all, that was pretty funny, and thank God we at least scored 7, right? Because if we didn't score 7, it would have been worse, right? It's what's funny? You have a guy that gets tackled by air, and then you have a defensive back that's run down by a wide receiver. So if I was to say to you, a D-back got run down by a wide receiver, you wouldn't really think much about it too much because they're both very fast. Is that fair?
Yep.
To some extent, a lot of receivers are faster than D-backs,
yep.
Right? unless you're Deion Sanders. But if I told you that, no big deal. But then if I say to you, okay, the receiver that caught him, now I know we're getting off on the Giants, but I'm going to go back to Daniel Jones on this, is this massive, like, he's the biggest dude I've ever seen as a receiver. That's not a tight end.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, he's not a tight end, and that is one big receiver.
Yeah,
I would like to start seeing him play like a tight end because he's big and strong enough to run people over. But I think that he should have got a bonus for that. Was incredible. Now, remember how we were talking about I could only run 5 yards, and there was the like when they do films in the NFL, and you know what they do in college at your level, but you know how they give you like penalties, like lagging penalties, because you didn't continue to the ball. He should get a bonus for what he did.
He did his job. I'm sure he's making $2 or $3 million a year. I'm pretty sure he's making a lot.
He did his job. Nobody else. Oh,
he did his job.
Oh my gosh. That's because you know you would have stopped. How far would you have taken off? You would have got caught at what?
I'd have made about 10 yards.
Exactly. There's no way you would have kept running down to even think you would catch it.
No.
Once he got 10 yards in front of you, you gave up.
Done.
Exactly. So don't act like that's his job. One, it was impressive. And two, you know, it's his job, but no one thinks he's going to get caught. Anyhow, we'll get back. So the Danny Dimes piece, though, the funny part about that, obviously he didn't get caught. But when I played, you know, when I got an interception, and I was also a punt returner, you remember that. But sometimes when it's almost like an open shot in basketball, when you get that free, all of a sudden there's this nothing but you in the end zone. You know, if you're not just normally used to that, right, and you're not a runner to begin with, because that was a long run, right? You just, you know, your heart is palpitating. You know, all of a sudden you're not, you know, because track people are very calm when they run. You know what I mean? They got a natural movement. I just think that there's a point where you start losing all coordination because he's probably never run that far in his life. And now he's a quarterback, and he knows that there's a defender. If they catch him, they're going to hurt him.
Yep.
Right? So there's so many things going through his mind. But of all things to happen to our Giants quarterback, I just think it's just indicative of the season.
That was awful. Well, getting on the last game that I played in Minnesota, I intercepted a pass and ran in for a touchdown.
Uh-huh.
At the high school level, I never did it. College level, I never did it, but I did it at that level. And I was up, it was on like 35 yards or whatever it was. I tipped the ball to me, tipped it the other way. Next thing I'm like, oh, I can get this. I caught it, started running. The quarterback comes over to try to tackle me. I stiff armed. I don't know where that came from. I stiff armed the guy and took it in for a touchdown in the last game I played in.
Well, I remember my senior year in college, right? I had 20 career interceptions in college, right? So the record for Upsall at that time was 20. So I wanted to break it. So we were winning, and they, you know, took us out. They put some of the other guys in, and I convinced the coach to say, "Please, they got to come back. Let me just go in. Let me give me my one pick, and I'm out." Right? And you know, being rather confident, but you knew I could play, and I knew they were had to throw the ball. Right? Yep. We were winning, and it was against Kane, so it was, you know, nothing major there. And no offense to Kane College out there in Jersey, but anyways, so I read this play to the T, okay, and the ball is coming, and this happened to me twice. One, I could have had a pick six that would have won a game, and this one was to break the record. And I saw it all. I was so excited. I got my hands in the air. I got the ball. I was like so excited. I pulled it down so fast. I threw it down to the ground.
Okay.
I never broke the record. The rest of the season. That would have changed the game, man. So anyhow, I'm just telling you, when your eyes light up, it's even in pro sports when the guy is so open, right? That, it's kind of weird, but anyhow, things like that happen. But Daniel Jones, I don't know if we got a tough one on Monday. I'll tell you that much. Hold on a second. So I keep moving the wrong mouse. So what did you think about his play this week?
He was a little better, not much, but then the defense did what they usually do. You're up by that much. They should be able to close the game out, and they couldn't again because they don't have that guy. Like a Lawrence Taylor or somebody.
Jean-Paul Pierre. They don't have the lineman.
Somebody. They need the guy. So I don't know, what they're going to do in the future as far as, maybe free agency or, in the draft or something, but they need the guy to finish these games. That's their biggest problem.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, because even last year when we had Saquon Barkley, right, it wasn't like we were running it. Our defense stunk anyways there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I did. Oh, I have a slide here. Okay. So what I was going to tell you is that last year the defense was terrible too. Remember, that's why I was getting upset when everybody was like, hey, come on, let's shoot for Danny Dimes. What's that got to do? We could put up, no matter what we were putting up, if they were putting up more points than we were, what was the point? You know what I mean?
And you figure this year on the defensive line, they got the three biggest jokers that I've ever seen in my life on the same defensive line. Those guys are huge. You figure, what's his name? Dexter Lawrence and Tomlinson and whatever the name of the other guy is. Those three guys are over 300 pounds. Lawrence is like 340. They're huge.
Yeah. On the defensive side?
Yeah, the defensive line is huge. It's the line, the one linebacker's playing well, Blake Martinez, the one they got from Green Bay. They put the 7th round pick guy, the one that returned the fumble, a couple weeks ago.
Right.
He's playing well. But
that guy's good.
But the two outside guys, because Lawrence Carter's out. The X-Man, he's out. They traded Marcus Golden, the other day. So the only one they have is the other free agent guy, Kyle Frackle, I think his name is, the one that returned the.
So is it that the linemen are big but slow, or is the linemen are doing their part, but the other team's able to execute their offense against the next two levels faster?
Yeah. Well, they're doing that part, but when you have a 7th round pick, not to knock the guy because he's playing well, and you don't have the outside linebackers to set the edge, because a lot of the players they're running off tackle with these guys, and you don't have pretty much you have one reliable corner, which is Bradbury, I think his name is. You got one guy. That's him and Logan Ryan, the guy they picked up from the 2. So it takes a lot, and that and the cog, for all that to go, to work well. And just right now, it's just not hitting all cylinders.
I remember the time when the Giants had excess defensive backs that were all good. Yep. They had like 6, like they were outstanding.
Not anymore.
Speaking of the draft and all this piece, I'm going to go back to a topic that I always bust your chops with. It's going to go. It's going to be Trevor Lawrence, right? So Trevor Lawrence, right? So he's determining whether he's going to be eligible. Is he what? He's only a junior?
He's a junior, yes.
Jeez, I feel like he's been playing forever.
It seems like he's been there. Well, you figure he started as a freshman, so it's 3 years. He's been there.
It feels like I thought he was a senior this year. So 2 things I want to ask you, right? Because one, the Jets and everybody else are wanting to get Trevor Lawrence, and they're saying that it looks like the Jets have a huge opportunity to take Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence is a kid. He's just determining whether he's going to come out or not, depending on what happens this season, because it's crazy with COVID. You don't know what's in his mind. Number one. So, but my question is, this kid is so highly touted, and they're saying the millions he'll get by being number one. And it's only happened a couple times, but why doesn't he play the John Elway, Eli Manning card and just say, hey, I'll come out. I won't come out. If I come out, these are the teams I do not want to play for, or be point blank like Eli was. if you pick me, you know, I'm not going to play for you. I'm going to go, you know, and Eli did it too. Remember, Eli said, I'll go play for the Yankees. I forgot who was the one that was going to pick him.
Oh, wait.
It was Elway, right? I know it was Elway, but there was a team that was going to pick him. He said, I don't want to go there.
Baltimore.
Who?
Baltimore, where
it was the Colts, right?
Elwood didn't want to go to, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Colts at that time, right? The Baltimore Colts. Yeah, so what do you think about that? Why doesn't he just do that? I think some people don't think it's professional, whatever, but I have my opinion. What are yours?
Yeah, but what choices does he have? Is he a baseball player? He doesn't have that. Does he play another sport? That's the only whole card that he would have with them, because the only thing would happen is he would say, for example, he said, well, I'm not going to play for him. Okay, so they won't sign him. They'll have his rights for a whole year, and then he'll go back the whole year. And I think that's what the whole year, and then he'll go back in the draft next year. He doesn't have any. What does he have? Just like with
so you think somebody would be willing? I mean, I can see the Jets, but you think that somebody, a person who could pick Lawrence would waste the #1 pick on a guy who will just say, "Hey, you could, if you're going to pick me, I'm going to play my next season."
They're going to call. They'll call his bluff. They'll pick him and see what he's going to do. Because
he can't. He's got to declare. Remember, he has to declare. Right. So he's thinking of not declaring.
Oh, well, then he can go back to school. Go back.
Right. But why can't he say, look, if you're going to, you know, I don't want, if you're going to pick me, then I might as well stay back.
Well, you remember Peyton Manning did the same thing. He could have came out as a junior at Tennessee. And I think the Jets had the first pick that year, because they ended up picking, I think it was Keyshawn Johnson or whatever that year. But they, you know, Peyton Manning did the same thing. He didn't want to go to I don't think he wanted to go to the Jets either. So he decided to go back.
For all you Jet fans out there, I hope you're listening. Here, we got a comment coming.
I read that in the book too.
But I don't remember, really, I didn't remember Manning did it. I know Manning wanted to come back to.
He could have came out his junior year.
Yeah, but I thought he went back because he wanted to win a national championship.
Oh, that too. But that was part of it. But he stayed his junior year because he saw the teams that were. I think if I'm mistaken, I think it was the Jets.
That's funny. I didn't know. But Manning pretty much told San Diego, "Hey, if you he told me I'm not going to play for you if you pick me. I want to play for the Giants."
But then again, what whole card did he have? Nothing.
But he did it. He made it happen.
Yeah, because I just read the book. The Giants wanted to pick, if they had to pick Eli Manning, they were going to take Ben Roethlisberger. That was their pick. So somehow they made a deal with A.J. Smith, the general manager of the San Diego Chargers at the time. He said, "Well, hey, we really want Phillip Rivers. You pick him, and then we'll make a deal, as far as, the whole trade to get Eli." Because what was holding up the trade back then, that they wanted OC, the San Diego Chargers. So that was like the big hole. And they were like, no, we'll just pick whoever we're going to pick, but we're not going to give up this guy.
Right.
But Manning, again, has no, what does he have? Or not.
Yeah, something. He made it happen, though. I mean,
he made it happen.
He made it happen, and it worked out, right? He's got 2 Super Bowls. Yep. The Giants is a great organization. San Diego, Phillip Rivers did great there, but they just seem to not be able to win a championship.
But just think about this. If it was the Giants that were over, would he be saying the same thing?
No. I don't think so. Yeah, but Jets, because Jets it's like Jets are the Jets. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the kid. I know it's a tough situation, but I just think that when Eli did it and John Elway did it, and a lot of people thought, like, who do they think they are? They could dictate where they go. And to me remember I was saying that people always like to make sports a business when they want to, and then make it a sport when they want to. Well, let's take the sport out. Let's take the business side. You're a talented, right, professional. Don't you have the choice to go where you want to go? Don't you have the choice to turn down an agreement? And I'm talking about CEOs. I'm talking about, guys that make big bucks. right? Or just talented graphic or engineers or great teachers, right? They should be able to pick where they want to go. So from a business perspective, why shouldn't an athlete that's considered at that level and has the ability to do that, right?
But if you started that and let them start doing that, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, well, let's see, Dallas Cowboys. They would clean up Dallas, New York, Los Angeles, like all the bigger, the bigger cities. That's where these guys would end up going. Who wants to play Jacksonville? Who, go to? No,
Yeah,
not,
but
not
there's not
Jacksonville.
that many of them. It doesn't happen that many times year over year that you have an athlete that is so touted, right?
But if you did that, then next year they're all going to want to do that. Then it's going to be a whole big old free for all that I don't want to play here, I don't want to play there. So it'll be a whole big old.
No, I get you, but I think that especially for quarterbacks, other positions is different. But I don't think there's not enough players. Think about it. You just said Trevor Lawrence that's heavily touted, right? And obviously we'd love to have him at the Giants. And now that the Jets are looking for him, several of them are looking at him. But there's not that many of those guys come out every year that are like that. Like Ben Roethlisberger, right? He was upset how far he got picked, right? He was like, "I'll show him," and sure enough, he won, right? Exactly. He was mad. Brady. That's not. I don't think there was that many players that had that ability to do that. I think Trevor Lawrence is one of them. I don't think there's anybody that I could. I don't care who it was in the last several picks. There's been a lot, and it's also changed because remember before they weren't really picking quarterbacks first round. A lot of teams were now fearful of picking a quarterback first round because of the amount they'd have to pay them, and then they weren't getting the results. Make sense?
Yeah, but now you got the salary cap. So those guys are like, I think Sam Bradford was like the last one to get $1 billion. And after he got $1 billion and he was hurt 900 times, then that's when they went, he's hurt a lot. And they turn around and change the whole salary structure. They're in like slots. All right, this number 1 pick this year is getting this. This number 2 pick's getting this. Number 3 is getting this, and then it just escalates from there.
Yeah, but I guess, but still, I mean, look at Joe Burrows. I mean, the guy's lighting it up. Why? Why is he going to play there? You know what I mean? It's like he's playing there, and it's just I don't know. I just think that I'm trying to get us on some of the questions here, but quarterbacks, I think, have it the worst because it's a great quarterback that goes to a lousy team. You could be a phenomenal running back and make a big impact right away, right? You could be a phenomenal defensive player and make an impact. I mean, so many positions where you can make an impact right away. And then as a quarterback, you can, but there's also the likelihood it can mess up your head, right? Yep. I mean, look at Ryan Leaf. It's one of the,
he was a mess.
He was a mess, but he was the prototypical quarterback, right?
Yep.
Size, arm strength, and so forth. But I don't know. I think he should consider that. Okay, so I had someone comment on us the other day about, is this a giant Dallas hater show? I started laughing. I was like, this ain't a Dallas hater show. Okay, let's see. We got some comments coming in. But it's we're in the NFC East, right?
Yep.
I mean, we're going to talk about Dallas. Dallas is talked about all the time as America's team. This is not Dallas. I'm telling you, look, if you're a Dallas fan, make a comment on Facebook, make a comment on Twitter, make a comment on YouTube, and we'll be objective, right? We'll listen to it. I like Dak Prescott. I think Jerry Jones has ruined that team. I love Jimmy Johnson. I love when they had the big three there. There was a time the NFC East was either Dallas, San Francisco, Washington, or the Giants.
Yep.
Is one of those 4 teams, of which 3 are in the NFC East.
Every year.
Right? And the other one was San Francisco.
Yep.
San Francisco was coming out of it, right? So we're going to always fight against each other. So it's not, I like the NFC East. At one time, I kind of felt no matter what the record was coming out in the NFC East, that was a good football team.
Yeah, because they beat up on each other all year, got ready for the playoffs, and they were good to go against some other teams.
Exactly. So but Dallas is unfolding fast.
That's because the offensive line is a complete mess.
Right.
All of them are hurt. And then, again, like last week, that debacle, when they let their, when what's the name, Andy Dalton got blown up the way he did. And you mean to tell me not one of those guys walked over there and kicked? I'd have kicked somebody in the face.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. That's what, and the other reason I wanted to ask you is that, right? It made a big thing about like the players just didn't do anything.
Not a thing. Nothing.
And then McCarthy is like, well, they did their thing. They were just checking on their quarterback and this and that. I'm like, and the Pittsburgh Steelers went after, what was the guy we were talking about, Garrett last year, and that was the fourth string quarterback, Mason. Yeah. I don't even know where he's playing right now.
Well, he's still with them. He's still the second. Yeah, but Pouncey got suspended for them, I think, with the Steelers. It was somebody else jumped on. It was like a free-for-all when they did that. And you mean to tell me the way that guy Andy Dalton got blown up, helmet went this way. He didn't have a clue where he was. He didn't know his name or anything. You mean to tell me and his linemen are going to just sit there and look at this? I'd have looked at the film later on. I probably would have hauled off and kicked him in the butt myself.
Oh, man. Do you know that? And the sad part is Andy Dalton is – I would consider him at a higher level than a Mason.
Yeah.
Whatever his last name was, right? And they didn't do it. This is trouble in Dallas. I just don't know what's happening. It's like they're imploding.
The defense is soft. The defense is not as dominant. They had a good defense. The what's the name? Lawrence, the defensive end, he's kind of iffy. I think they got the drug addict guy coming back, Randy Gregory or whatever his name is, one of the suspended 19 times. He should be coming back.
The drug addict.
Van Esch, the linebackers, he's been in and out hurt all the time. Jalen Smith is not playing up, to that big contract that he got, the linebacker, 54 with the nice hair.
Right. So you're of the same you're the same piece that everybody's saying that, look, these guys, someone should have stepped up.
Even if the defensive guys should have ran out there and done something. Somebody should have done something when that quarterback got blown up like that. Somebody, I don't care who it was, you're going to get suspended for 900 games, but so what? At least you defended the guy.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know what's going on with those guys. We got a few people on YouTube. Good thing I got on here. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get them all going here. I got Justin. Justin's one of our guys that has a great show coming on. He has them on Tuesdays at 8. So I want to be mentioning that. Justin, I see you on there. He was talking about he's Ronnie Coleman in pads. The grasshopper tackle. Sonia Jones is grasshopper tackle. She's like, what's that? You want to explain what the grasshopper tackle is?
I don't have a clue. I guess
you don't know what a grasshopper tackle is? No. That was nothing. You know what a grasshopper? He tripped over a grasshopper, tackled him.
I played an artificial turf, man. Ain't no grasshopper.
You get the gist of it. I mean,
yeah,
it was the ghost of something. You can pick whatever you want.
It was a ghost of him trying to kick it in third gear, and his leg, his mind was doing one thing, his legs did something else, and then next you know he's toppling down the field.
His legs started going this way. They weren't even. They were going up and down.
He was trying to kick it in gear. He was trying to kick it in the high. He was trying to be Saquon. He was trying to kick it another gear because he thought he was going to get tackled, and next you know the invisible line monster jumped up and grabbed his foot.
Yeah, and Justin's saying about Dallas, it's Jerry Jones. I kind of agree. I don't know, Justin, what your thoughts are on it, but Byron, I was just thinking about today. I think Jerry Jones, first of all, an owner is a good owner, but he's not a GM, and I think he's got so much money. I think other than when he's had Jimmy Johnson, he's treated this Dallas Cowboy team like his own live fantasy football team.
When you're the owner of the team, you can do what you want to do, and that's what he's doing. He wants to be the general manager, the coach. I don't see why he never came down, from the luxury box and just coached the team. He might as well.
They used to criticize him before the end of the game. He would come down.
Come coach the team. If you can do better, show me. Instead of beating up on Jason Garrett, he wasn't a bad coach all those years. They didn't get past too far in the playoffs, but. If you could do better, here you go. Here you go. Come on down here, Jerry. You and your son, your son could be the offensive coordinator, and you could be the head coach.
Well, he hasn't done it. He's picking coaches that are just, that's why Parcells didn't stay. That's why what's his name? Parcells didn't stay, and who was the other one that was there that left as well? Yeah, well, I don't know. Just I think that he keeps picking coaches that I guess he could do something with. He doesn't get rid of many coaches. So again, I agree with Justin. And I've said it before. I mean, I'm not a Dallas hater. I'm not fond of Dallas, but I'm just saying to you that Jimmy Johnson is playing live fantasy football, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah.
He's trying to pick where he wants. All right. So, what do you think about? I have Giants and Philly here. Right. I'm trying to think of why I had that there. Philly
Giants and Bucks. Tampa next Monday.
Oh, Giants and Bucks.
Wait a minute here. I got to change up for that one.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh my God! You're gonna go and change up on us.
There we go.
What do you got? The Bucks hat?
Oh no! That's my Kango hat for Bruce Arians.
Bruce,
the head coach.
I've never seen him in a Kango hat. I gotta see that.
He's the most stylish coach there is.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you questions. This is a hard one for me because obviously the Giants aren't doing well. I hate rooting against them, but I am so much rooting for the Tampa Bay and Brady that it's a kind of a bittersweet game for me to watch. And not for you, because you already got your red hat out. You're the biggest bandwagon
Ooh, am I? Go Bucks! Go Bucks!
Oh my God! You switch up so much; it's not even funny.
I know I'm awful.
Hey, I said in the beginning I was looking forward to it. If it wasn't for COVID, I'd be over there in Tampa, watching going to the games, because when he was with the Patriots, they played the Dolphins only twice.
Right.
Here, I would have had 8 home games.
Right.
I wouldn't have went to all 8, but I had 1 in 8 chances versus 1 in 2, and really was 1 in 1 because only 1 game was played here. So, and then the Super Bowl's there, so I don't know what they're going to do with that because there's not that many people. Who knows? They said 25,000 people max. They're
going to have more than that because it's a lot of money.
I don't know what is going to happen, but I know that it's going to hurt. Tampa Bay gets hurt with the economy as it relates to that, but that's a different story here. Let me just double check with Justin. Justin was saying, hey, you know what I want? Bruce Arians Kango hat. Sonny Jones is making fun of that. Trevor Lawrence has COVID. No way.
No way. Really?
Justin, is that for real? Here, Justin, you got the number. You know what? I should give you the number, Justin. For real? Justin, is this for real? Let me see. Just check it out. Trevor Lawrence has COVID. Man, I wonder if it's for real or he's just like, I'm going to sit. That would stink, though, for Clemson. Unless they got someone else they could put in.
They do. They got another big giant.
Yeah, Justin said it just broke. Justin's giving us our latest news. It just broke. Thank you.
Yeah, there he is. Tested positive for COVID-19, says Mike Garafolo.
Wow.
Now
let's see what's going to happen.
They still got another. The second string guy is pretty good too.
Well, I would think that after following up on Trevor Lawrence, you'd have someone on there. And then I want to get to Antonio Brown and Brady, right? So what you have any? I got 2 things on this piece, right? Antonio Brown and Brady, and then Brady as a leader with Brown, and then I'm just going to say now, Brady as a leader with Brown. Randy Moss was considered a problem, right? And you only heard bad things, and then Carter took him under his wing over there, but you still had some issues. But he did pretty well under Carter's wing, right? But nobody wanted to take a chance on Moss, and he went to the Patriots. He had 21 touchdowns. I mean, he did pretty good there, right? Number one. So, what are your thoughts on the Antonio Brown go to the Bucks, which are a Kango Bucks hat on?
I know. Here, just remember that. What is that? Brady got 6 of those, right? He's got 6. I'm sure he probably gave, hey, if you want to get, you want to help me get number 7, you get 1 too. You come here and behave. I'm gonna give you the ball. I'm gonna get it to you, but you got to come here and behave. Because Bruce Arians, I don't think really wanted him. I think he had an issue with him. He might have been with him when he was at no, I don't think that far back with Pittsburgh, but I don't think Bruce wanted this guy.
Wow, Justin, again, one of our partners who shows on Tuesdays, saying he said that Moss is a problem, but AB is a poison. Interesting.
No, I think Randy Moss is worse.
Randy Moss even got in trouble in college, didn't he?
That's why he didn't end up at Florida State. That's where he originally signed. Florida State, then he went Notre Dame, and then he ended up at
Marshall, right?
Yeah,
he ended up at Marshall. But they're saying some pretty interesting things regarding that Antonio Brown, when he did play for that one game of the Patriots, him and Brady got along. Brady offered him to stay in his house.
Yeah.
And Brady really pretty much said, "Hey, what do you want? How can I help you?" I mean, they were friends there. And what happened, and obviously Brady can't control that piece. And I know a lot of people were looking at him, but I'm wishing Antonio Brown the best, to be honest with you. I need him to, for a couple of reasons. One, I hate to see these great players like him go out that way, right? Like, people go through their times and stuff, and, sometimes ego gets getting in the way. I don't care if it's in professional sports or not, but, everybody deserves to, character's not how you walk into a place, it's how you walk out, right? So right now, the way he's walking out, his character is being, subject. So if he gets that chance to make it right, he's a Hall of Famer. So don't leave that the bad way. That's number one. And then number two, I want to say is that I think they were saying on a lot of the sports channels, they were saying that, he really feels, they think that he went with Brady because he really felt he let Brady down. Like that they're friends and stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
He's a typical diva wide receiver. Name one great receiver. It's the truth. Name one receiver that's not a diva. One, I can think of one offhand right now. Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
But most
Jerry Rice.
No, he was. He had his moments too where he wanted the ball. He played 900 years. He didn't know when to quit. He played 25 years in the NFL. He kept playing until he got cut finally.
Well, he worked out. I mean, his workout regimen. But no, it's true that they're divas, but they're not disruptive, to the pieces. I think Moss had zero problems he had no problems at Patriots. I think Antonio Brown, I could see, I could understand Justin's point of view from the perspective of the stuff that Antonio Brown did. But, you didn't really hear a lot of the Antonio Brown stuff until he was leaving Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them. A lot of those teams, they got the FBI agents, and ex Secret Service. They cover up all that stuff, and you don't know. Nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors with some of these guys.
Right.
Like when Randy Moss was in New England. Why did he end up staying there? He wanted more money, and no, we ain't give you no more money. Next, he was out the door too. Mm-hmm. But a lot of those guys, they keep all that stuff to themselves.
Yeah, remember, a lot of other receivers went there. They couldn't do anything. Terrell Owens, Ocho Cinco. Those guys didn't really do much there. But what also I'm hearing about is what I like. I like Tom Brady, no matter what. At the end of the day, but they're saying his leadership is really changing the culture of the organization, like from top to bottom, the administrative, the way that he works out. The defense made a comment. Here, I want to ask you, I got two questions for you from a defensive perspective. One will go back to Antonio Brown or just a receiver. But what they were saying is, the defense, which is already good, they said that they feel that what they're saying that's coming out of the camp is they're playing against the GOAT, man. And if they can't play, this is where they elevate their game. It's not like these guys grew up admiring him. They know what he did. They watch him practice. They watch him prepare. He's going to eat you up in practice, or he's going to eat you up on the field, or whatever. So, what are your thoughts of that as a defensive player? And say, hey, okay,
You got a guy that's been with 9 Super Bowls, won 6. Probably the greatest football player ever, and now he's on my team with maybe a possibility that we can go. I can get one of those shiny things that you have to. I'm going to elevate my game without a doubt. Because sit there, if this 42 or 43-year-old guy can do it, I can do it too. And I'm going to do everything I can do not to let him down. Whatever I have to do.
From a defensive player standpoint.
Yes.
What do you think? And how do you feel about being able to hone in your skills playing against a guy like that?
He's the best. He's the best at what he does. He was a 6th-round pick, 199 player picked, and look what he did. He didn't cry about anything. He didn't complain about it.
Yes, he did. He went right into it. He went to Robert Kraft and said, "Robert Kraft, I'm going to guarantee you this is the best decision you've ever made."
And what happened?
And Ben Kraft goes, "Who is this 6th-round pick?"
But he lived up to it, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but that's what Robert Kraft said. I like this kid because I don't even know he was in Robert Kraft's radar as a 6th-round pick.
And then turn around, and then guess what? The team does well. He does well. How much do you think that team is worth? Billions of dollars. Why? Because of Tom Brady. The GOAT.
Also, remember I could tell you a couple key matchups: Deion Sanders, Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin. Every time you hear stories, like those guys looked so forward to play against each other in practice because they felt their game got elevated. Because now I'm playing against the best.
You want to play. You want to play against the best. You want to
in your position, right?
When I played the Senior Bowl, not the All-Star game in New Jersey when in high school, and Mr. Davis the whole week was beating me down. You know what? You really don't deserve to be playing there. You're going to go up there. You're going to get steamrolled. He beat me down the whole week. Before I was getting ready to go up there, he came out to practice one day. Him and his wife, Miss Davis. They come out there. I go over there. Yeah. I see you ain't got beat up. I was like, why would I get beat up? Next you know, I was MVP on All-Star game.
Awesome.
After he beat me down like I was out there. I had to prove to him and myself that I was the best player in the state of New Jersey when I came out that year.
Really?
Elevate your game.
Yeah. So that's one I wanted to tell you about, like how his leadership is. Now, let me ask you your experience. I mean, both in high level college, Division I college, and in the pros. Let me see if I posed the question correctly. How does a great receiver that's poorly affecting the success of a team, how is that being, like, what goes on in the mindset of the team now? Like, this guy's a superstar, so foot, but man, he's a freaking problem. Do you guys just say, hey, it's none of my business, let me go along? I mean, what do you do?
You talk to him when you can. As long as he produces on the field, you're really not going to say too much to him. As long as he's not, affecting what you're doing, you don't worry about that guy. Because he's just, he's going to do his thing as long as he shows up, Monday to Friday, shows up on Saturday or Sunday, whenever you're playing, and does his job. Most people aren't going to say anything. I've seen that at, the college level, the pro level, where, hey, as long as he does his job, we don't care what he does.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. See, Tony, it's funny. The reason why I'm bringing that, but just one, I wanted to see how it affects the locker room. Two, it even gives you more reason to have those veterans in the room. So, Brady was talking back to Brady. They were saying, that he had like a lot of guys take him under his wing. So now he's trying to do the same thing for the younger defensive players and the offensive players, and it's funny how when he lost the game or threw an interception, they were saying, hey, look at him and Jameson, right? But now they're seeing him play, and everyone's elevating, and he's starting to get better. Remember what I told you about Gronk last week? Scored another touchdown, right? But I think that it's even important. Like my buddy Pella McDaniels, the gentleman that you had talked to you about, played 9 years in the league, and one of the key reasons was he was really a good factor. Besides being a good player, he was a good example, role model for the players in the locker room, right? They need some of that guidance, some of those younger guys.
Well, you figure like when the Giants, when they were successful with, the 07 team and 2000, they had probably, they had Michael Strahan, Antonio Pierce. There was another guy that was like the guys that was part of the leadership committee for Coach Koffler. And when they had issue, Koffler, when they had the issue, with anybody, they pull this guy aside, say whatever they had to say. They would deal with it internally before it got to the coach. That's what you want to do. If it's that bad, you want to fix it before it gets to the coach. Because once it gets to the coach, it's out of your hands.
They, I heard a good story about Coughlin and Strahan, and then they actually had a meeting with him and said, "Look, we're veterans, right? The game has changed. We're going to play your way. You're going to play ours. You can't be so, stringent across on every single thing. You got to." Now they respected that. Like, if there's a meeting at 6, he expects you there at 5:45, right? Yeah, there were certain things that they were like, "Look, this is good," but then there were certain things they were saying you're being excessive now. So I think what you just said regarding Strahan and these guys being the leadership in between handling it kind of was a result of that kind of conversation to have with Coughlin. And Coughlin said it made him a better coach. He was being blinded by just years of.
Yeah, well, Parcells was the same way. People never noticed that when they would line up to stretch, they would always he would make them put their helmet to the right side, always. Really? Or when he was with Dallas, those guys haven't earned the star, so they didn't have the star on their helmets.
What? Say that again with Dallas?
The star that they have on their helmets, the Dallas Cowboys, until he felt that they earned the right to have that put on their helmet, they didn't have it on their helmet.
I heard a story about him regarding the Cowboys. Was it the Cowboys? Yeah. And, practice was going on. And, he, obviously he brings some of his coaches with him, right? He's going to bring his squad. And they were like, a couple days are going by. They haven't heard from him. And, they haven't heard him say anything. Like, what's going on? What's happening? It's coming. And then he just let loose. They thought something was wrong with him. That's not like him. The only player he'd let do what he wants was LT, right? LT would actually drive a golf cart to the practice. It's just interesting how the players have changed, and I think it's better if the coaches have. I think the players, there's got to be a good balance. You play my game and I play your game. But I always wondered about, a guy that is like, look at, again, with the receivers, look at, for the Cleveland Browns, you got Baker Mayfield and a guy played for the Giants, Odell Beckham, right? Odell Beckham, he gets hurt, he gets out, and Baker Mayfield goes off. Right?
I wonder why. Because Odell's probably in the huddle every time he goes back. I'm open. Throw me the ball. I'm open. Throw me the ball. He probably goes back there 900 times. Throw me the ball. I'm open. Throw it to me. Guaranteed he does it.
Yeah, but they all want the ball. Yeah, but yeah, I guess I can see that. But they were also making the point where, they also weren't calling the plays where he was the first read, right? So they were coming up with a bunch of things. I'm just telling you, like, one, he was the first read. How many times did they throw to him? But it just, again, you do find those problems. I just think that he's playing so much better without Odell Beckham. And remember, he said, I feel like the worst 4-2 team ever.
He got Jarvis Landry's a good receiver. The tight end's good, and I think that I forgot what the third receiver. They have good receivers, and it's just the fact that you have this guy coming back to the huddle. I bet money that when he goes to the huddle, I was open on that play. Well, I got my guy beat this play, and constantly over and over and over again. And you figure it gets old after a while when you got the same guy coming there crying, and you're like, dude, I was looking at it. You had 3 people standing right there. I'm not throwing a ball over there.
Also, the progressions too, right? Because if he keeps saying that, and he's the second progression or the third progression, right, on check offs,
yeah,
he's now making a quarterback check him first, right?
It messes up everything.
And it messes, now because the line, everybody's playing a different ball way, right? And he's got to go through his progressions. And just curiosity is if he's going through his progressions and he is the number one pick on that progression and he's double covered and stuff, you got to go somewhere else. But that just didn't seem to work. I don't know what it is. We'll see the next game, right? Because it's only one game, right? It's easy to judge Baker Mayfield on when he was 4-2, and it's easy also to judge him when he wins a game when Odell gets hurt.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going here. AFC East. We got a little bit of time here. I just want to go quick. The AFC East. Well, we got your boy Tua's playing. So remember, it goes back to the dumb ideas become great ideas. Yep. I've heard some good stuff today, so I'm looking forward to seeing Tua play.
About time, it's time for him to earn that money.
He's the only lefty quarterback in the league. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
there hasn't been a lefty quarterback since and there's only been 2 won Super Bowls, Stabler and Steve Young.
Yeah. Well, they had Todd Marinovich, though, so, but I'm sure
No, we're talking about Super Bowl.
Well, Boomer Esiason.
No, he didn't win a Super Bowl, went to the Super Bowl. But they're saying right now, out of all the teams, there's only one left-handed starting quarterback. I don't even know if there's a backup quarterback that's left-handed.
No, not that I can look that up.
It's been a long time, yeah. So we're going to see that happen. And then they're saying, you know what? I thought about it from last week. I still think I don't know. I'm torn. We'll see. I stick to my guns. I thought it was a bad move, but as the week progresses and you get more information, because what happens is, as sports fans, we make decisions based on what we hear, right? We're not in the locker room, we're not in the strategy room. I mean, now it's a business, right? I always equate football to war, right? There's 2 generals, which are the head coaches, are planning the week to go to battle against the other person you're battling against, right? You're going to war with. You're gonna go after their weaknesses and protect your strengths, and utilizing your strengths and protect your weaknesses, right? Okay, so it's a whole week of preparation to go to war. So for them to now have Tua getting started, I was like, okay, we don't know everything that was going on. So one, why bench Fitzpatrick and help him? But the other side of it is, if they're playing pretty good, why not put him in now, see if you could take them further than if you put them in next year and they're really bad.
You want to put them in now. So, again, Eli, same thing. The Giants, I think they were 5-4 or something like that when they switched from Kurt Warner to Eli Manning, and they proceeded to lose every game after that. I think they won 1 after that. They were 6-10 or whatever that year. But, they threw him into the fire, to see, if he was going to either sink or swim. And that way you'll know ahead of time. That way you're not wasting the whole off season next year and go through the whole rigmarole again.
So Eli didn't have a good start?
No. Oh, no.
See, but the difference is, I like this kid, though, Tua. He's a good kid. I think he'll handle it. Because at least Eli handled it. Some guys, it'll break him.
Oh yeah. He's the only thing with Tua is Tua's a little fragile. He's a little small. He's not a big quarterback. Eli's a big quarterback.
And they said, who are they playing this week? They said that they're putting him against one of the best DEs in the league.
Well, we'll see. We'll hear about that. Maybe I'll probably have a Dolphin hat next week.
Well, I'd like to see Tua doing well. You get some excitement down here in South Florida. But, it's 2 schools of thought. wait or put him in. They're obviously putting him in, and maybe he could. They're a good enough team to. Maybe they also feel they got a shot at the AFC East. They do now. I mean, Belichick isn't doing much.
Not this year.
Your season ain't over. He'll come up with something, but you got to give now. Brady's, the season's not over yet. We're almost halfway part, but Brady's looking pretty good.
And Cam Newton is not.
And Newton is not. Right. And neither is, what's his name? The guy who was supposed to play Stidwell, whatever his name is.
Stenham or something like that.
Yeah, they put someone above him.
He stinks too.
They put someone above him, so I don't know what they're doing. So I'm excited. Antonio Brown's with the Bucks. Hopefully he plays well. The AFC East, you got the Jets are just doing terrible. To my buddy Jet friends out there, Richie Vargas and them, hopefully they get this message. You got the Bills, right? And then you should be double happy. You got Brady out of the league, and you got Belichick's having a tough time, right? And the Bills, they're tough, but the offense is playing pretty good as well. Josh Allen, yeah.
And the defense is pretty good too.
So now, the Dolphins got a shot. So just bad how the AFC and the NFC East are so bad, but NFC is worse. But it's just an interesting piece. All right, how's it going with Tulsa?
Ooh,
they're winning.
Well, there you go. Tulsa, 42-13 over University of South Florida?
The Bulls, yeah.
That's right. We're the number in the top 15 in defense, and they have one kid, I think it was a corner, who's got an All-American candidate. So we are doing just lovely at the University of Tulsa.
He's defensive back?
Yeah, well, both of them are pretty good. They're big kids. They're like 6'2". They're not little big corners. They're nice size. And they play East Carolina at Tulsa.
What time? When and what time?
Oh, they play Friday at 9 o'clock on ESPN.
Friday at 9 o'clock at ESPN, Tulsa versus East Carolina?
Yes.
Versus East Carolina. Root for the Tulsa from my man Byron there.
At Skelly Stadium.
And they're in number 15?
No, their defense is ranked top 15. I think they're ranked like 21 in the nation or something last time I looked.
They're in the top 25. It's good. They have to be with a defense in the top 15. I mean, that would be kind of bad.
We went 10-1 my first year there, and we were ranked number 14, I think 16, and didn't even get invited to a bowl game.
But they didn't have every bowl game they have now.
They didn't have Tidy Bowl, Toilet Bowl, and all these.
They got Charmin Tissue Bowl. They got Chick-fil-A Bowl.
They had none of this.
You know how many bowl games the teams have got bad records? Like most of the time to get in a bowl game, you had to be lucky to get in if you had one loss.
Yeah. Now, all you got to do is
Ursula could have gotten a bowl game.
All you got to do is be above 500. You're good.
Oh my God. Yeah. And you guys went, 10-1. Okay. Any other news happened about Tulsa? Well,
Not Tulsa.
Breaking news, we have Trevor Lawrence. So you see that's happening there. I don't know. And look, I just want to mention this before we go now. Let's see if anyone wants to call in. It's getting close to the thing. But LA is sports town, huh? You got the Dodgers winning the championship. You got the Lakers winning the championship.
All they got to do is get the Rams to win a championship.
Exactly. I forgot.
They're not that bad.
I don't remember who the other LA team was. I knew it was the Chargers.
The Chip.
And I forgot the Rams.
And the Clippers, and they got like 19 teams out there.
No, but football. Remember football? They had the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Rams.
Yeah.
And they got San Francisco.
Yep.
Right. So even if San Francisco wins, it's still the West Coast, man. But so far, you got two LA teams with 2 championships. Oh, I think the Kings won. Didn't you say the hockey won team?
Hockey.
Yeah, I thought the Kings. Somebody played it. Oh yeah, I thought you mentioned something like that.
Nah,
okay. You don't know hockey. All right, hold on.
Too cold for hockey.
Well, you live in Philly. That's a big. Flyers a big team in Philadelphia.
No, I don't go. I don't mess around with that.
Right, let's see what we got here. Got you, Sonia Jones. Justice talking about Rice. Real quick, I want to ask you. Justice brought this up a couple times. Is You know what? Come to think of it, I didn't realize it, and it makes sense now. When I was growing up playing ball, they the only different shoulder pads I knew of, and maybe that's because of our expenses at that time, but were quarterback pads.
Right.
Right? That's it. Now they were saying, well, this guy's got linebacker pads. This guy's got defensive back pads. They were making the difference of when DJ Metcalf caught up with him.
Right.
But the defensive back still should have beat. He had a huge lead against DJ. But I didn't realize the pads are different now for different levels. Yeah. That makes more sense. I would have wore lighter pads.
Yeah. No, they probably cost too much money. They're probably very expensive right about now.
Oh, you mean college? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I would have known it, I would have done whatever I had to do. But I mean, anything to give me an advantage, because I didn't even wear rib pads or anything. I wore them when I got my ribs hit bad. I had bruised ribs, but outside of that, I took them off. I took my knee brace. I tried to take as much as I could off.
I put everything on because I was soft as cotton candy.
You're on the line, man. I'm gonna beat back. I'm gonna hit you, but I'm not gonna. You're getting hit by 3 or 4 guys at a time.
Whatever they told me to, whatever they put. Yeah, okay, rib pad. Yeah, give me that. Yeah,
I want everything as light as possible.
It was like a suit of armor.
But now is that happening in college too? The pads are different.
Probably, yeah. Well, look at Trevor Lawrence. His pads aren't that big when if you really look at him. Most of his,
but he's a quarterback.
Yeah, but even then,
there's always been quarterback pads, right? I never knew that the linebackers. It makes sense now, but all right. So hey, listen, we're about to wrap up our show. I just want to remind you that every Tuesday, every Monday, you have the Ty Turner Show. It's Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern. He talks a lot of college football, big Alabama fan. And on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., you got Riley and Constant. They have a fantastic show. They talk about the SEC. They talk about some of the other divisions or conferences in college football. He tends to have a lot of really great guests, and he had a great comedian on this week. It was worth the show. You can see it on sportscast.net. You can see it on all of our channels, both the Ty Turner Show and Riley and Constant. Remember, Monday at 10 p.m. for Ty Turner, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for Riley and Constant. Great guys, great information. And I want to just talk real quick about, and Byron, I'm going to do this one this week, okay? I just want to talk here. Actually, I could show this here. That's what I'm going to do. If I could share this to the screen for everybody. Boom. Boom. Byron, let me know if you can see that.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay, good. All right, so look, we just want to talk about, freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all we can to extend our hands in times of need to those who willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise, we all know, is a phenomenal actor. This is an organization, Byron is close to his heart, and I'm a big believer in it. As you can see there, it's GarySiniseFoundation.org. So if you could write that down, contribute whatever you have, or whatever you can. This helps first responders. Byron, give me who it helps. First responders, veterans.
Veterans, veterans' families. They do a great job and have for many years.
Yeah. So, please, anything you can do to help out would be great. Remember, our soldiers give us the freedom to do what me and Byron are doing right now. We'd be censored in another country, right, Byron?
Probably.
So make sure that, if you get an opportunity, GarySiniseFoundation.org, we just like plugging them for our soldiers and first responders for all that they do. Byron, any party words, any predictions for next week? Anything?
Oh, let's see. Tampa Bay is going to put a 50-piece on the Giants next week.
What's the over/under?
Oh, a lot of points. A lot.
Does Antonio Brown play this week?
I think he can.
Oh,
I'm not sure. Yeah. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Godwin,
Godwin,
Gronkowski.
this guy's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big running back, I think, is back. Fournette.
Okay. All right. So you got the Bucks. Who else? Who else you got? Anybody else you can remember?
I'm just
Who
worried
you
about.
rooting for? Who you rooting for MVP? There's three people they're talking about. They're talking about obviously Brady. They're talking about Russell Wilson, and they're talking Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Donald, defensive lineman, MVP.
Aaron Donald,
defensive lineman for the Rams. I'm throwing a new one out there.
Defensive player as an MVP. That'll be impressive.
Lawrence Taylor was.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh, oh, really?
Aaron Donald.
There was somebody else who was the MVP too. But the only MVP defensive player in the Super Bowl was Richard Dent.
And Randy White and Harvey Martin back in the day for Dallas in the 70s. They were co-MVPs.
Oh, really? That I didn't know. I thought Richard Dent was the first one. Okay.
And Chuck Howley was MVP for the losing team, the only one in history for Dallas Cowboys. Linebacker.
For a losing team?
For a losing team for the Cowboys, yeah.
All righty. Well, I just want to thank everybody for watching our show. And, obviously you can still post comments after the show. We'll answer them. We're going to be reading comments for the next couple of days. Ask Byron and me, call to say hello. Anybody from Philly, Jersey, Florida, give us a call. You want to talk about a few things, Dolphins, Giants. We're always going to talk about NFC East. We're talking about Tulsa, a little bit about the college programs. I just want to say thank you again for giving us an opportunity. And Byron, as always, it's great talking with you. I think we have fun on Facebook with your team, with your crew, and our crew. We have a pretty good time. So listen, remember, you can follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1. Also visit our website at thesportscast.net. Please join us next Thursday at 8 p.m. I'll probably be having some more special guests. We're looking to start a segment. If we can get our lovely guest to join us, Byron, is going to be the Ref Rules by Rivera. So we're going to ask him to come in and give us a couple like more educational, right? Like just trying to educate, like, why was this here? Here's a couple rules of the game, just so people get a little bit more attuned to it. And it's funny, when we had him on, he said it's a quarterback league now, right? Everyone wants to see points. And then one of the announcers mentions, and let's end it with this, the announcer goes, well, of the teams that are playing defense, there's only like 3 of them. Out of the entire NFL. So either the defenses have gotten really bad, or Benny's right that it's just they don't want defense.
They don't want defense.
Well, we'll leave it like that. As 2 defensive players, I like old school defense.
Defense, smash them in the mouth.
Yeah, that's right. It's like Mike Tyson. Everybody's got a plan. So you get punched in the mouth. And you get punched in the mouth. Okay, don't forget, follow us on Twitter at Sportscast. Byron, as usual, it's always been fantastic as my host, as my co-host. We'll be thinking a few other things. Shout out to the Jones family, as always. By the way, you got a lovely picture of your family on Facebook. You got some beautiful people in your family. So, don't say anything, Byron, before you get in trouble. Well,
I know.
peace. Everybody have a good night. I'm going to cut this share so Byron doesn't say anything, gets him in trouble. I love you, bro, and we'll talk next week, man.
All right. Love you too.
Peace.
All right.